Welcome everyone to Learn's session, Living Well with Diabetes or Chronic Pain. We are delighted today to have Natalie Nathan from the Southwest Idaho Area Agency on Aging join us today to talk about these programs that are offered by the Southwest Idaho Area Agency on Aging to help people struggling with diabetes and chronic pain. For those of you who may be new to LEARN stands for Lifelong Education and Aging Resource Network. LEARN is an Idaho-based nonprofit organization with a mission to provide community education on aging and caregiving topics. It's my pleasure to be your host today for today's session. My name is Dara Ray, and I am the president of LEARN. LEARN is a leaders network of the Society of Certified Senior Advisors, a group of professionals coming together to educate the community, community educating for the community. We do ask you to consider our disclaimer in all of our education sessions. We provide all of this content for general information purposes only. It is not to be considered legal, financial, or health advice. And we do remind you to please consult with your legal, financial, healthcare, or other service providers before you take any specific action for yourself based on the information you hear today. So today I want to, first of all, acknowledge our sponsors, Oasis Senior Advisors and A Mind for All Seasons. Oasis Senior Advisors provides free personal senior living assistance, placement, and consultation using local advisors to help you find the perfect place for yourself or your loved one. And A Mind for All Seasons is leading the revolution in brain health for individuals and institutions with a very comprehensive approach to brain health and healing. We are super grateful to both of these community sponsors for providing us the funding that allows us to bring this all to you free of charge. So all of our education is free of charge thanks to the generosity of our sponsors and to the generosity of our volunteer educators. And with that, it is my pleasure to introduce Natalie. Oh, and good grief, Natalie, I have your bio up on the other screen and it didn't print in all of this craziness. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself and let people know who you are, what you do, and then I'll let you take us right into the presentation.
That sounds great. So thank you for that introduction. My name is Natalie Nathan. I am the Special Projects Manager at the Southwest Idaho Area Agency on Aging. I graduated in December of 2013 from Boise State with my master's in health promotion and programming with an emphasis in gerontology. And so my passion of serving our seniors really started from very little. I lived in a multi-generational home and found a passion for just serving, being with, and advocating for all of those that are 60 and over. I started with the agency in 2014, first as an ombudsman and moving to this position about 3 years ago. In my spare time, you'll find me out walking in the Greenbelt with my puppy or hiking the foothills trails. And maybe at the end, I'll have him come over so everyone can see his cute little face.
So that would be great.
I'm biased. He's pretty cute, but you know, he's still new. So today I'm going to share with you a couple of things, and I'm going to share my screen now. But first, I wanted to give everyone a general idea of what the Area Agency on Aging is, what we do, who we are, and who we serve. Because what I found in my almost 7.5 years in this particular agency, a lot of people aren't aware of an Area Agency on Aging and how they can access services. And it would help if I clicked on the right screen to make the slide move. So the Area Agency on Aging, there's 6 in Idaho, and you can see on your screen they're divided kind of by general area. We serve Area 3, so that's southwest corner in yellow. And if you think of Boise out to Payette and Fruitland, kind of up to Cambridge, Council, McCall, over to Glens Ferry, Mountain Home, and everything in between. We serve one of the largest areas and the most densely populated, even though only 2 of our counties that we serve are considered urban counties and the rest are all rural counties, we still serve the most out of the state. Our mission at the agency is to support seniors and their caregivers, and we help them to secure safe, healthy, and community-supported living options, whether that's just through information, through some assistance, through advocacy, or helping them plan for different things. We have quite a few programs, and I'm kind of just going to go through them fairly quickly so that you know what we offer and how we can help you or a caregiver or a friend or somebody maybe that's moving to Idaho and they aren't familiar with the programs that we have here. The first point of contact you would have at our office when you call is our access program. And once you call our main number, you will be in touch with different options counselors, and they are going to help you get information and resources. They're the ones that are doing the screening and eligibility for things like home delivered meals, respite, and homemaker services. And those are some other programs that we'll talk about. Just in our fiscal year 2020, which is kind of an odd year, right? They answered over 9,000 calls. And so we're really taking a lot of calls, giving a lot of information in, I want to say mid-2010s, Boise State and the Center for Study of Aging did a needs assessment, and what they asked seniors, what do you need? And the thing that was said most was just the resources. We can do the phone call ourselves. We know how to do that part, but I need to know where to go. And so the access program, I feel, is really aimed at touching that point of education and resources, where we have multiple databases that we can connect you to a whole slew of resources. I say we're the hub of senior resources here in our area. If you had a question about where to go, how to get help for your neighbor, call our office and talk to our options counselors first. They are going to do the screening for things like home delivered meals. Home delivered meals are for those that are 60 or over, they're homebound, and they're frail. We do have some priority for those that live in rural communities that are in a minority group, and those that are over 75 and low income. What this does is provide one home delivered meal, or if you live in a rural community, it might be one hot meal and 6 frozen meals each day. It's not just a meal, it's eye contact with a person at least at the very minimum once a week, which for those in our rural communities, that could be the most they see people in a week. And so it's a great program to help those that aren't able to provide for themselves or to cook a meal for themselves. We also can connect people to the congregate meals at our senior centers and our meal sites. So anyone that's 60 or over is invited to our senior centers. There's a center, I think there are 28 meal sites that we can connect you to. If you have a friend that's younger than 60, they're going to be asked to pay, but anyone over 60, the meal is free. All they're asking for is a donation. What is great about the congregate meals is not just the meal, it's a setting where they can connect with other people. I think we all found during our lockdown and isolation period, we lacked seeing people. And so being at a senior center for a congregate meal, you're able to connect with your friend. It's not just a meal, you're able to be with people. A lot of our senior centers have games, education programs. I know a couple of senior centers bring in tax specialists during tax season, and there's a lot of great stuff that happens at our centers. And just kind of something to think about. We helped to serve with our congregate meal sites and with our contracted providers over 150,000 meals in 2020. And that's kind of combines a few of the congregate meals, and we had to move to some home delivered as well. kind of put them all together. Another service that we're able to connect seniors to is the homemaker service. Again, it's for anybody that's 60 or over with some limitations, whether it's physical or cognitive limitations. It's general housekeeping, changing bedding. That is usually a job that's fairly difficult, helping run some essential errands. And so to get connected to those services, you would need to call our office, talk to the options counselor, and they can do the screening and connect you to those services. We do have some resources available for transportation services. Most of that transportation is to and from congregate meal sites or some programs that provide physical and mental well-being. It's usually like an access bus or a lot of the senior centers have their own bus, and we can reimburse them for those rides that they provide. We do also have a caregiver support program. Caregiver support is very needed. I think it's one of the most underappreciated jobs. If you are at home caring for a family member, thank you. I know that the job is difficult and sometimes you need a break. And so our caregiver support program really provides that respite and provides a break, whether you're caring for your spouse or caring for maybe a relative's children or child. We can provide resources and connect you to some caregiver support in multiple ways. There's a couple of workshops and support groups that we can also connect you to. We do also contract with Idaho Legal Aid to provide some just non-criminal legal assistance. So a lot of times there's questions about, what are my rights regarding housing, and is this a case of age discrimination? Idaho Legal Aid is going to be able to help you with answering those questions. We do also have some help for those that are struggling with their Medicare copay. It is expensive. It's expensive to be on any type of insurance, but it's especially expensive if you're on a fixed income. And so we're able to connect you to programs to provide some extra help. And there's a couple of different programs, specifically Medicare Savings Program and some prescription for Part D assistance. Our office also houses the long-term care ombudsman. If you're not familiar with the ombudsman program, they are resident advocates. So for those living in assisted living or skilled nursing homes, we have our ombudsmen that go and visit at least quarterly to all 125 assisted, and I think it's 30, and they're 30 skilled facilities, and they're all growing. I think I saw just recently 3 or 4 assisted livings being built kind of around the valley. So they are making sure residents are being treated well, being cared for, treated with dignity and respect, and taking those complaints from any resident. A lot of times residents in assisted living, skilled nursing homes, there's some fear of retaliation and reporting things to the staff or to the facility administrator. And so the ombudsman kind of provides that bridge, and they're resident directed. So they're not going to say anything unless they're asked to. We also have an adult protection team. And out of all of our programs that we run, this one has the eligibility is a little different. Anyone that is over 18 and they're unable to protect themselves from abuse, neglect, or exploitation. The adult protection team receives the reports, they investigate those allegations, and they really work to reduce or eliminate the risk of harm. It's not an emergency service, so if there's a dire need, that is always warranted to call 911. But these cases, our adult protection team, they're really providing a lot of good resources and some follow-up. And then we have the health promotion programs, which are the programs that I manage and I facilitate. Our programs, both Living Well with Diabetes and Living Well with Chronic Pain, both of these programs are aimed for anyone, but particularly those that suffer with these ongoing healthcare conditions in their family and their caregivers. Our goal is to provide everyone that participates in these workshops some tools to live well. Are we going to get rid of our diabetes? No, it's a chronic condition. It's most likely it will be something we have forever, but we can learn tools to live well with a chronic condition like diabetes. So on the next slide that I have, it gives an overview of what we cover in the workshop. And it might be a little small on your screen, I apologize. So each of the Living Well workshops, we meet once a week for 6 weeks. The diabetes workshop in particular, it's open to anyone with diabetes that it maybe has been told they're pre-diabetic. It's open to their family, friends, or just anyone that wants to learn. They're interactive, it's fun. It might seem at the very beginning, I'm just talking a lot at people at our workshops, but truly they're peer facilitated and peer led. So we have 2 facilitators for each workshop. And the workshops are geared to learn about a skill, practice the skill, and then you have it as a homework item for the next week. On the screen, if you can kind of see through the weeks, you see that we do cover quite a bit of topics. And really what we're teaching are the tools, the self-management tools. So tools like healthy eating, physical activity, action planning, stress management, understanding our emotions, our medications, the power of using our minds, why it's important to avoid complications, some good communication skills, looking at a decision-making model, the importance of not smoking if you are diabetic. We do some problem solving. And we also talk a lot about working with our healthcare professionals, especially when you have a chronic condition that can be a challenge of really advocating for yourself and telling people what you need. The chronic pain workshop is similar. We also meet for 6 weeks, once a week. It is open again to anybody with pain or maybe their caregivers. What I've found in teaching these classes for the last, almost 4 years, people that have chronic pain, their caregivers don't quite understand what that's like and how to best help them and care for them. So I always encourage caregivers to come and learn and understand pain from a different perspective. Again, we want these workshops to be interactive. We want them to be fun. And so there's a lot of time in each program for participation. The chronic pain workshop is a little different in that we teach a light exercise and stretch program.
You knock it off.
Easy. It's called Moving Easy. And we have a video that we can show. Our books come with a exercise CD as well to help lead you through those exercises.
And do you teach both classes, Natalie?
I do. I'm a master trainer for both of these classes. So I'm able to teach them both, but also train future leaders in teaching these classes. So I always encourage, if you've completed a workshop and you'd like to be a facilitator, we'll keep you on a list when we have our next training available. Or if you are interested in facilitating a workshop because you do have chronic pain or you do have a family member that has diabetes, let me know. Put your name in the chat and email, and I will put you on our list so you can know about our next training. Because I'm always looking for more volunteers. It's the best way to get these classes out into different areas. I should also mention these classes in 2020, we switched pretty quickly to teaching them over Zoom. And so for about a year and a little over a year, we taught them fully online. We have, as things have kind of ebbed and flowed, we've tried to keep them more in person now. Zoom is awesome and it's a great resource in a technology. But I love being with people and teaching these classes. I should also tell you they're free. Each class comes with whether it's the pain or the diabetes book, kind of just depending, it's Living a Healthy Life with Chronic Conditions or with Chronic Pain book. That is yours to keep at the end of the workshop. We're able to provide these programs for free because of a grant that the Idaho Commission on Aging received from the Administration for Community Living and the National Council on Aging. We are at the end of April, at the end of our grant period for this program. So we're continuing, and we do have funds to continue these programs, but we're working with a couple of different agencies to create some sustainability for our programs, because there's a lot of added value. These programs weren't just created out of the blue. They were created first at Stanford University by a team of healthcare professionals, by public health nurses, doctors, mental health professionals as well. And they've really created a great, not only great curriculum, but a great book that every class I've taught, every person has said this book is the best book I've read on chronic pain or on diabetes. It's given me so much information. These classes have really helped me to remember the things I should be doing and to encourage me to do better. And that to me is the best part. In 2019, there was a study of the chronic disease programs, both including the diabetes and the pain program. And there was a reduction by almost $700 in medical savings in keeping people out of the emergency room from simply taking these self-management classes. And that savings alone is a great incentive to encourage our family, friends, maybe ourselves to take a class like this. But more than the cost savings, each person reported feeling happier, feeling better, feeling that they were more capable of taking care of themselves. And that is a great benefit. So I thought that it would be to give you a little taste of what the workshops are about. There's a couple of different things that each workshop has. And one of them is a relaxation body scan that I thought would be great to end our day and our time with. And then we'll talk about action planning, which is another self-management tool. We really teach the importance of using our minds in both of these workshops. Our minds are really powerful tools. Much like a radio, we can't focus on too many things at once. So when you have chronic pain, learning some distraction techniques or learning some ways to relax our minds, which then relaxes our muscles, can really be beneficial. It's the same that if you have diabetes and you're constantly worrying about what's next and what can I eat? And is this a good carb or a bad carb and a good fat or a bad fat? You tend to get there's a lot of stress that can be involved, and stress only increases our blood sugars and makes things a lot more complicated. So we teach a couple of different distraction and using our mind techniques, but one is a body scan. So I'm gonna ask everybody to get really comfortable. If you snore, it's okay, I have you muted. But I really like this scan. I think that we often, even if we don't have any chronic condition, often in our daily lives, we don't give ourselves enough time to rest and to really spend some time kind of focusing on our bodies. So we'll get into a comfortable position and I will begin. As you get into a comfortable position, allowing yourself to begin to sink comfortably into the surface below you, you may perhaps begin to allow your eyes gradually to close. From there, turn your attention to your breath. Breathing in, allowing the breath gradually to go all the way down to your belly. and then breathing out. And again, breathing in and out. Noticing the natural rhythm of your breathing. Now allowing your attention to focus on your feet, starting with your toes. Notice whatever sensations are there. Warmth, coolness, whatever is there, simply feel it. Using your mind's eye, imagine that as you breathe in, the breath goes all the way down into your toes, bringing with it new, refreshing air. And now, noticing the sensations elsewhere in your feet, not judging or thinking about what you're feeling, but simply becoming aware of the experience of your feet as you allow yourself to be fully supported by the surface below you. Next, focus on your lower legs and knees. These muscles and joints do a lot of work for us, but often we don't give them the attention they deserve. So now breathe down into the knees, calves, and ankles. Noticing whatever sensations appear. See if you can simply stay with the sensations. Breathing in new, fresh air. And as you exhale, releasing tension and stress, and allowing the muscles to relax and soften. Now move your attention to the muscles, bones, and joints of the thighs, buttocks, and hips. Breathing down into the upper legs, noticing whatever sensations you experience. It may be warmth, coolness, a heaviness, or lightness. You may become aware of the contact with the surface beneath you, or perhaps the pulsing of your blood. Whatever is there, what matters is that you are taking time to learn to relax deeper and deeper as you breathe in and out. Move your attention now to your back and chest. Feeling the breath fill the abdomen and chest. Noticing whatever sensations are there. Not judging or thinking, but simply observing what is right here, right now. Allowing the fresh air to nourish the muscles, bones, and joints as you breathe in. And then exhaling any tension and stress. Now focus on the neck, shoulders, arms, and hands. Inhaling down through the neck and shoulders, all the way down to the fingertips. Not trying too hard to relax, but simply becoming aware of your experience of these parts of your body in the present moment. Turning now to your face and head, notice the sensations beginning at the back of your head, up along your scalp, and down into your forehead. Then become aware of the sensations in and around your eyes and down into your cheeks and jaw. Continue to allow your muscles to release and soften as you breathe in nourishing fresh air, and allow tension and stress to leave as you breathe out. As you drink in fresh air, allow it to spread throughout your body, from the soles of your feet all the way up through the top of your head. And then exhale any remaining stress and tension. And now take a few moments to enjoy the stillness as you breathe in and out. Awake, relaxed, and still. Now, as the body scan comes to a close, come back into the room, bringing with you whatever sensations of relaxation, comfort, peace, whatever's there, knowing that you can repeat this exercise at any appropriate time and place of your choosing. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Well, you can come put me to bed every night. That would be lovely.
I was gonna ask, so what we would then do in our class is ask everybody how that was. So maybe if you're muted and you have a comment, go ahead and let me know, how was that body scan for you?
Well, since I'm unmuted, I will share and invite other people to either unmute or put your comments in chat. Super relaxing and a reminder that whatever health we're in, we can benefit from that, and should do it more often. So thank you. Any comments that people, and maybe you put everybody to sleep, Natalie, which would be a wonderful outcome, right? You made everybody so relaxed. I felt a little bit, it was funny. I was listening to my blood. I was listening to my own heartbeat in my ears and hear it like it was the minute you said, maybe you hear your blood pulsing, I think is what you said. And I was like, oh, she's reading my mind.
Your mind. Yeah, so the point of our body scans in our workshops is to really provide a different way. Maybe some people have never done a body scan before. I taught class today, in fact, at the Garden City Library, and we did this exact activity. And there were a couple of people that said, I've never done that before.
And Nancy, there's a note here. She says she's at work in her office, and that was so relaxing and helpful, feeling less stressed. So
that's perfect.
Yeah, less stressed, releasing pain or anxiety. That's great, right?
Yes, exactly. Just to become more aware, and to know that you can always take this, maybe 10 minutes, if that, to really kind of scan through every part of your body and see where you can release some of that tension. So we do a couple of different, we do a body scan, and then in our pain class, we actually also talk about some guided imagery, and we work through a couple of guided imagery exercises. And I have to say, as a trainee, when I was learning that program, the guided imagery puts me to sleep every single time. Every time I'm just out and like desperately trying not to like snore myself awake. So they are helpful. And when we have chronic pain, we tend to go through a symptom cycle where we have fatigue, we tense our muscles, we have poor sleep, we have a lot of stress and anxiety. And so learning skills like a body scan, like guided imagery, help break up that symptom cycle. And the same with diabetes. If you're extra stressed, meal prep can be a real challenge. Having something to where you can take a few minutes to calm your mind is really helpful. The last activity we're going to do, and we're going to talk about action planning. So each class, we teach this self-management tool, and action planning is really breaking up a big goal into smaller baby steps. to something that's achievable, something that you can do. So on your screen, you can see kind of our outline of action planning, and I'm going to explain it a little bit, and we're going to practice just like we're in a workshop. With action planning, sometimes it can be overwhelming to think about the big changes that we want to make or the activities that we want to accomplish. It can seem too big all at once, which makes it then hard to get started. It seems a little defeating, right? When maybe you say, I'm going to run a marathon, and then you realize that that's 26.2 miles, and you go, wait, what? That's too much. I'm not even going to try. So to help with that, we have one of the most important self-management tools in our toolbox, and that's action planning. Action planning really allows us to achieve what we want or decide to do by breaking down that activity into smaller, more doable or achievable steps. So an example, if you want to improve your fitness, you might break that I want to improve my fitness into just one of these steps. You could research the type of exercise you want to do. You can find a place to exercise. Maybe you want to use a warm water swimming pool, or you need to find a gym that has some classes that you enjoy. Maybe you start an exercise plan or program by walking for 5 minutes 2 or 3 times a week. Or you read about exercise in a book, or ask a friend to exercise with you. So our action plan would not be doing all of those at once. It's too many things, but it's picking one of those and working through that each week. So we decide on one and we figure out exactly how we're going to do it. So we're going to make action plans for ourselves. I won't see any of you next week, but maybe this will kind of kickstart something. It is spring, although looking out my windows right now, it's kind of sort of cloudy, but really windy. So if you are like me and have very severe seasonal allergies, I am suffering with you. But it's also a great time to start getting outside. So our action plan first, kind of looking on our chart, it's something that you want to do or you decide to do. It's not what somebody else thinks you should do or what even you think you should do. Like, well, I should drink more water. It's I want to drink more water. Your action plan should be something that's achievable. You should expect to be able to do it in this next week. It's also action specific. So gaining or losing weight is not an action or a behavior, but either adding or avoiding snacks between meals is. Gaining or losing weight is just the result of that specific action. We want our action plan to answer some specific questions. What? So the specific action, are you going to go on a walk? Are you going to replace junk food snacks with a piece of fruit? We want to answer the question, how much, the time, the distance, the amount. Are you going to walk for 30 minutes or for 4 blocks? Are you going to switch out one serving of something maybe processed, a serving of food that's processed, or a junk food snack with a serving of fruit? We want to know when. So what time of day or which days of the week are you planning on doing this activity? Is it going to be after dinner on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, etc.? And then how often? So 3 times a week, 2 times a week. We want to, in our action plans, avoid every day because life happens. So if something comes up, it's better to have succeeded at your 3 days a week than say, gosh, I was going to go walking every single day and I only walked 4 days instead of 7. Already we've set ourselves up to fail, and that because all we see is the defeat of we didn't do it every day. Instead of I'm going to walk 3 days this week, and instead I walked all 3, or I walked 4 days this week. And so we really set ourselves up for success when we are able to kind of take those smaller steps and avoid every day. And the last part of our action plan is we want to be confident that over this next week, we can achieve our plan. So on a scale from 0 to 10, 0 is not sure at all to 10, totally sure. How sure am I that I'm going to be able to complete that entire action plan? If your confidence level is below a 7, we're going to change what we're doing. Maybe it will look a little different. If your action plan was to walk 4 times a week for 20 minutes and your confidence level was 5, or could we change that to walking 3 times a week? And could we increase your confidence level that you'd be able to achieve your goal? So I can tell you my example of my action plan for this week, and then I'm going to invite everyone to maybe think of something they want to do and to share. If you want, you can put it, you can unmute yourself and share, or you can put it in the chat. So my action plan, what I want to do is to enjoy this nice weather. I hope it stays kind of nice. And take my puppy out for a hike. And I'm planning to go to hike with him twice this week. I have time to go on, Thursday and Sunday. And we're gonna hike for probably an hour each time. We'll go, let's see, I got the what, we're hiking, how much, the time is an hour, the when is Thursday evening and Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, and how much we're going to go 2 days of the week. And I'm pretty confident he's cute, but he's young and needs exercise. So I will stop with my action plan. There's mine. And if anybody wants to share theirs, please do unmute yourself and let's hear what we're going to work on. And it doesn't have to be a fitness goal. Maybe it's, I want to drink more water, or I want to read a book, or I want to practice a relaxation body scan. So it can be whatever you want to do.
Well, I'm actually going to take that cue, and I am going to find some kind of relaxation body scan, like guided imagery. I want to find that that I can listen to at least twice in the next week. So 10 minutes or more. So I'm going to look for one that's about 10 to 15 minutes and commit to do it. I'm going to say on 2 weeknights. I don't know which 2, but 2 weeknights at bedtime to help with my stress management.
Awesome. And you feel confident.
I think I can do that. And I love having a goal.
Great.
And
awesome.
We have Judy Ellis has put in here that she wants to read a book.
Great.
And so I'm guessing here, Natalie, you would say we would want to say maybe select a book and 30 minutes a day or something like that, a couple of days a week, right? So that you're really specific. Is that kind of the guidance?
Exactly. So we'll train you to be a leader next. So reading a book, that's great. So we would want to ask, how much are you going to read for, 10 minutes each, 3 days out of the week, or 10 minutes, 5 days out of the week. Are you planning to read maybe you're like to read in the morning or the evening? So we would kind of ask some more questions. You'd also have access to your book, which has this page with some fillable spots. So you could write it down so you would remember. Yeah. 20 minutes each morning. And how confident do you feel, Judy?
See, I bet she's typing. So while she's she's confident.
That's awesome. So we would, at the end of each workshop, we create new action plans each week. Maybe you've learned a skill that day in our workshop that you're like, gosh, I want to try that. Kind of like, Jerry, you were like, oh, the relaxation scan was really great. I want to work on that this week. Or maybe you've already started a walking program and you want to continue to add to that because you've learned in class that getting at least 30 minutes of cardiovascular exercise each day is our recommended goal and target, and you want to work towards that. So we create our action plans each week, and then at the beginning of the next class, we check in. How did it go? What were the barriers? Can we work through some of the problems that you encountered? Looks like maybe Vicki, you unmuted yourself. Do you have a action plan you want to share?
I'm just new to this and I really don't have any action plan.
That's okay.
Well, and
welcome.
I think Vicki may have gotten in late because of our technical challenges. We had a couple people join late. So again, apologies for the mix-up. We will get this session recording posted very quickly so that you'll have access to it at your convenience. We want you to make sure you get the content.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we've created our action plans. We know what we're going to work on for this week. And then I would tell all of our our workshop attendees, we'll see you next week and we'll check in and see how it went. Because we want you to achieve your goal. We want to create some sustainable habits that create change in our lives, that really help us have an overall wellness approach to living our lives with whichever chronic condition we do have. So how can you be involved in living well? You can attend a workshop. We do have a couple workshops that are upcoming, and I will include that in the notes to send out to everybody. We have one in Spanish, a diabetes workshop in Spanish, starting late April at St. Paul's in Nampa. We have a chronic pain class that will be starting beginning of May at the Garden City Library. So those are kind of the two upcoming ones. Your agency, if you work at, gosh, we've worked with all kinds of places. If you have a conference room, if you have a classroom, we can come and bring these workshops to you. So you can be a host agency for a workshop, or you can become a leader of a workshop. I'm always looking for new volunteers. I teach a lot of the classes and I love teaching them, but I would love to see and empower more people to teach them. So if you're interested, again, put your information in the chat, or you can contact me if you need more information. How do I get more information about these awesome workshops? You can contact me here at my email, which is natalie.nathan@a3ssa.com. You can also call or text me on my work phone, which is the number is listed there. So
Natalie,
go ahead. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, can people also look on the A3SSA website for upcoming classes if the ones that you just mentioned aren't good for their schedule?
You absolutely can. And honestly, following our Facebook page is a great way to find information about classes as well. I post them as events and have just a whole plethora of resources on that page as well. So in case you ever wanted just a lot of information, follow us.
And it's
follow us on Facebook. Yeah.
All right. Wonderful. And you'll send me, I can put this information in the text as well. If you want to send me the information about those two upcoming classes, as well as how best to reach you, I'll make sure that the email that goes out as follow-up includes that information.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll stop if you have any questions, comments. I know I kind of went through some of the stuff that our office does pretty quickly. We have time, so please ask away.
Any questions for Natalie about either of the chronic disease or chronic pain management programs, or any of the other offerings at the Southwest Area Agency on Aging? Southwest Idaho Area Agency on Aging. Got to get Idaho in there.
It's a mouthful. Say it fast 10 times.
A3SSA. That's how I do it. So I am going to let people pause a few more minutes and see if anyone has any other comments or questions. And if I don't hear any, let's see here, make sure. There's a thank you. I'll take that. That's a great comment. Thank you very much, Petra, for joining us today. And so I'm going to go ahead. I'll watch the chat, but I will go ahead and wrap up today's session. First, by apologizing to all of you for our little technical challenges and for flipping with us over to this new Zoom room, and Natalie for hosting that new Zoom room so beautifully. I really appreciate everyone's help and your understanding for the unexpected. So thank you very much, all of you. And Natalie, thank you for sharing critical, important information about the offerings at the Area Agency on Aging. I think they're often overlooked, and it's important for people to know that there are resources available, and sometimes just going to a resource to point you to more resources. And I think that's one of the beautiful things that the Area Agency on Aging does. And I appreciate that we had this opportunity to introduce people not only to these great programs, but to the offerings of the agency. And thank you, Natalie, for the gift of your time. We couldn't do what we're doing here at Learn without the participation and engagement of our volunteer educators, our volunteer members, and our partners here in the community. So thank you, Natalie, and the agency for supporting the effort that we're doing here at Learn. There is a question from Crystal. She's wanting to know if there is perhaps an agency up in Moscow that it has similar programs on chronic pain.
And I'm trying to think. I know there are a couple of different agencies that do offer they offer some of the chronic disease programs, but we're the only area currently that's teaching the chronic pain class. So if you send me your contact information, there is a chance that we'll do another class through Zoom, and so then you could participate that way.
That would be great. So do people need to be in the area to participate in your classes if they're offered by Zoom?
Nope, not at all. You can be anywhere, that's kind of the beauty of technology.
And that's exactly why we do it this way as well. And it's beautiful when it works. So thank you, Crystal, for that question. That's a great clarification. And hopefully there'll be another Zoom class. Any other questions? I'm watching here. So Natalie, thank you again. And
You're welcome.
Additional thanks to our sponsors who make it possible for us to bring this to the community free of charge through the live webinar, as well as supporting our efforts on keeping our website active. So we hope you will head out to our website to see what else is available in future classes. And we will invite you all, if you are not already a member of our mailing list, to join our mailing list. You will receive an invitation to join our mailing list in the next couple of days. We do ask that you confirm your subscription. We won't automatically subscribe you to our mailing list. And all we're going to inform you about are additional free education opportunities, free education videos, and free education events coming up in your community. If you just can't wait to receive that mailing list invitation, don't forget to check your junk folder, because not all of us have control over what gets into junk. Sometimes things we want end up there. And just a reminder of our additional upcoming classes. These are the classes that we are offering in our spring series, starting next week with Rethinking Brain Injuries. And we've got lots of great content on this spring session, and we hope you will consider joining us for additional classes. With that, I thank you all for joining us today and wish you a great day.